Hello, you guys. How are you? Welcome back to another live. Listen, we're back with the lives because it just needs to come back. I know a lot of people have been asking and requesting that the lives come back. So here we are. I kind of stopped doing the lives last November. So that was like November 2023. Just because I had a manifestation of mine come through that I was working towards, and this manifestation took up a lot of my time and I didn't have time to do the lives. But I know a lot of you has missed the line. Hi, healerschoice.ca. How are you? Let me know if you have any questions. We're going to talk about everything manifestation, spirituality. If you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the comment box below. It's so hot here in Toronto today. Oh my gosh. I have like a fan going, so if you guys hear that in the background, I have like 2 fans going. I have the lights dimmed a little bit, so just to keep cool. So grab a water, grab whatever you're drinking. Get your pen and paper out, you guys, because class is in session. There is so much to talk about that has happened since the last live in 2023, the end of 2023. And what I kind of want to do in this live is I want to backtrack a little bit and go back to some of the posts that I made in 2023 and kind of explain a little bit more of what they are talking about so that you have more of an understanding, because I know that a lot of the concepts that I talk about are beyond people's, capabilities or understanding. So I want to elaborate a little bit on it. Okay. So if you have any questions, again, just let me know in the chat. We're just going to get started. People can join. We're not going to wait because I know it's a Sunday. Everybody has things to do. So let's just get into it. I have a little note here from all of the posts that I made, and we're going to kind of go through them one by one, and I will explain them. So again, if you have any questions, just let me know. Okay, so like I told you, I brought the lives back because, again, it's come to my attention that a lot of people, want the lives back. So that's the reason I'm bringing it back. Also, I'm bringing the lives back because I think, hi everyone who's joined, I think that a lot of stuff is going to happen in the upcoming months and years, and I think that people will need support during that time. So I think that the lives will be a good opportunity for you to find that support and for you to ask any questions that you have or to find answers that you are looking for. Okay, so what do I kind of mean by shit might hit the fan or some things might happen? This isn't to scare anybody, but we all know what happened in 2020 with the pandemic. Do I think that something like that might happen again? Yes. I think that in the winter we will see a surge of instances like that where people are getting sick with COVID. Do I think that something will happen in the upcoming years and the upcoming months? Yes, I can clock about 3 to 4 instances of these periods of deep change. They're not anytime soon. They're going to be in the future. Will they look again as the form of the pandemic? No, they won't look like the form of the pandemic. They'll look like something else. That's all I really want to say about it. They'll look like the form of something else. There's about 3 to 4 of them in the years following. So 2020 beyond, there's about 3 to 4 instances of these like deep resets, right? And the whole point of these changes that we see happening in the pandemic that we saw, it is for deep reset and rebalance. Okay. And each one that we will be experiencing in the upcoming years, each serve a deeper purpose and a deeper meaning. And essentially it is to bring rebalance and restoration to planet Earth, because Earth is just getting so dense, it's overwhelming, and we need a shift, or else, it's literally the end of times, right? So that's what these deep resets are about. Hi to everybody that's joined. Again, feel free to ask any questions in the chat, anything about spirituality or manifestation. So again, that's why I'm bringing the lives back. Sorry, it's like so hot here. Okay, so like I said, we're going to go back and talk about some of the posts that I had made later last year. And we're going to clarify those posts, and then we will just keep moving forward like that, okay, until we're up to date on the posts that I've made. So one of the posts that I talked about in last November, was I had made a post saying that all I want is peace. Whatever name you give to your God, it's all the same thing, okay? That was the gist of the post. So that's true, okay, right? There is one source. There is one consciousness. Any name that you give to it based on your religion, it's all the same thing. It's all the same source, okay? We're just giving it different names based on the culture and the religion that you're brought up with, or that you grew into, or you've adopted, right? So for example, I'm Catholic. I identify of this source or being as God, right? People have Allah. They have, in Hindu, they have different gods, right? There are different deities, there are different goddesses, but ultimately it is one same source. It is all one same thing. Who you pray to, right, and who you worship or whatever is who you identified with in your culture and your religion. And religion was man-made so that you can identify and keep order, right? So that there's no chaos in society, and that you have these beings to look up to. That's who your culture or your religion decided that this is what we're going to call it, right? So again, I've met Source, okay? I've met Source numerous times. What that looked like for me is they have appeared in a church, or as a priest, or as Jesus, right? Source will appear to you. Follow along, okay? This live is going to get a little bit wild, so just follow along, okay? There's a lot to talk about. We're just going to go through it. So what source looks like to you will depend on the religion or what you identify with, right? So again, going back to my example, I'm Catholic. Source appeared to me in a church setting, right, as Jesus, or as something that I would identify with. Source is not going to come to you and scare the shit out of you, right, and appear to you as like, I don't know, a genie in a bottle, right? And you're going to be like, oh my God, who's that, right? Source is going to come to you however you identify it with, as a religious way, right? That's how they're going to normally appear to you. So again, it's all the same thing. There's only one source, right? There's only one being, one universal God. How they appear to you or how you interpret it is based on your culture, your religion, your belief, where you grew up, what country you're from. So again, that's why I always go back to this, where I tell people your religion is going to keep you divided. Your religion is going to keep you separated. Your religion is going to keep you stuck. Period. We've seen this happen. We're seeing it play out in real life society today. So again, like, you've got to move past that. I'm not saying like abandon your religion, abandon your faith. I'm saying like be aware of it and know what it's there for, have it serve its purpose, and then move beyond that. Okay? So that's what I want to say about that post. Let me know if you have any questions in the comment box below, and I will be happy to answer them. So again, it's all one God. It's all the same being. There's not like 100 different gods out in the world, okay? And they're like, there's just not. It's one universal source. They appear in different ways to you. Okay, so one of the other posts that I made was the law firm that I was working with had closed. My employer had retired, and I was working in 2023 as self-employed. And I had said that you should find what you are deeply passionate about, make a plan, and take action. So that is still true, right? And we had seen that come up during the pandemic, where it's like everybody was like, oh my God, I don't want to be working at my job. Oh my God, I want to do this and I want to do that. So you need to ask yourself, like, what has really changed since that time, right? A lot of people, that were staying home and they weren't at their jobs anymore, but now they're back at their jobs and they still don't like their jobs, right? So you really need to ask yourself, like, what has changed for you? What plan of action have you taken? And like, what is it that you really want to do? Because if you keep staying stuck, and if we keep coming up to these, I'm going to call them voids, right? These periods where we have deep reset and change that I've been talking about. When we come back to these deep periods of reset and change, if you can't change with it, and if you can't maintain a higher vibration, or if you can't shift, then like, that's a wrap, right? Like, I'm not going to say they're going to kill you off, but like, you know, it's not going to be great for you, right? So you need to find a way that you are going to be able to learn to shift, that you're going to be able to get to a higher vibration, that you're going to be able to operate from a heart center, because that's what's happening. A lot of these people who are in these jobs that they don't like, or their partners that they're with, it's like you're not operating from a heart center, right? You're not operating from this, sorry, I'm like fixing my shirt. You're not operating from this center of love. And that's what's going to keep you stuck in a lower vibration. So that's what they're looking to see, right? They're looking to see, like, are you able to shift? Are you able to come into this unity consciousness in the world, right? Because remember I said, this goes back to how the world is too dense and it's just getting really heavy. We need to elevate it and bring it up. And that's why they're looking to see, like, who can withstand this higher vibration and this higher elevation in order for our civilization and world to last. Statistically speaking, it's for one light worker. One light worker can impact about 10,000 people. So if I'm on this live, I can impact about 10,000 of you. If you're on this live and you're picking up something and you hold a light and you hold a higher vibration, you're able to affect another 10,000. So that's 20,000 people that two people who are holding a higher density of light can affect, right? So again, that's how it's kind of working. And that's why I feel like it's important to come back on this lives, because people need support. So again, you need to figure it out what it is. I just washed my hair, so it's kind of wet, it's drying. So you need to figure out what you deeply want. You need to make a plan, and you need to take strategic action to have this plan unfold in your life. Or what's going to happen is, like I said, when these periods come up again, like, what are you going to do? Right? You're going to be in the exact same situation you were in 2020 when all shit hit the fan. So it's really essentially up to you. Okay, we're going through our list. Okay, so in November, I also talked about this new moon and how there was a shift in the new moon, and this is how, like, when my manifestation had come into place. So the manifestation I'm talking about, it's about a job. I had manifested this career or this job in my life that I was really trying to get, and it happened and I got it. So again, that's what had happened, and that's what had took up so much of my time. So again, I talked about this new moon and this shift that happened last November, and that's kind of, you'll see if you go back in my feed, you'll see that's where the lives had ended. And I was having like deep visions around that time, around that new moon. And I remember I wrote it here, one of the visions I had was like this elephant, these baby elephants, and they were hitting me with their trunks, right? And elephants mean good luck, abundance. And it was telling me, like, and I was like, yeah, okay. And then, you know, I had manifested this career change, right around that time. So again, you need to trust your visions. You need to know what your visions are showing you, and you need to know and be able to trust your visions. And that takes time, and that takes a lot of practice. It doesn't really come naturally for a lot of the times. You know, it took me a while, like a couple of years, to actually really trust my visions. But again, I think that you need to know and I've talked about it, like, go back in the lives, right? And you can see where I was talking about how to determine what's a vision and what's a dream, right? And once you're able to really differentiate between the two, you will be able to trust your visions more, right? And you'll be able to just be like, okay, well, that's a dream. I know what a dream is. And then you'll be able to act on your vision. So that's essentially what was happening with me around that new moon. And where I was sharing with you, like, you've got to learn to be able to trust your visions, because who else are you going to trust, right? Like, come on. Okay. The next thing is the new year had come, right? So we're at November, December, January, and I was talking about this time of reset. So let me know if you guys have any questions below. Let's just take a little break. Drop your questions in. Let's have a little drinky drink. Okay. So new moon reset. Yeah. So sorry, new year reset. So the new year was a time for reset. And again, this goes back to, you know, what has really changed for you, what has aligned for you, what is still holding you back, what has not changed or shifted in your life, right? And the new year was actually a call for this reset. And we could see, you know, and I talked about it in the previous lives, where a lot of people are now going through divorces. A lot of people are now going through, you know, financial changes. A lot of people are now going through changes in employment and career. A lot of people are now, you know, aligning and changing, like, you know, cutting off family members and friends. Like, it was this period of deep reset, and the new year was an opportunity to do that. So we're now in August, right? So we're like pretty much halfway through the year. So you really need to ask yourself, like what else do you need to shift this year in order to put yourself into a better place next year? And that could look different for every single person. So again, you really need to kind of journal or write it down and ask yourself, what has really changed for you during this year and the previous year, right? That is going to align you for the future that you're looking for. So that's what this year is essentially about. It's about resetting. Because think about it, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023 was this period of awareness and, coming to terms of like, okay, I'm unhappy, I'm unsettled, whatever. This is what I need to do, right? And then the pandemic ended and then we're like in 2024. So it's like, really, what did you implement? Right? And that's like, have you reset it and have you like started operating again from this heart center that I've been talking about, right? So again, that's kind of, you need to evaluate where you're at in this point in the year and kind of see, what changes you can do to move forward. Okay, so that was that post. Do you guys have any questions? Okay, my next post was about how the devil, so I'm just looking at the notes if you see me looking down, how the devil attacks you through people you thought you loved. You are the target for the devil's schemes. Yes, that is true. Is there dark energy? Yes, there's always this polarity, right? There's always light and dark, good and bad. And there is this devil or this dark energy. Like, I know this is like a deep topic and I don't really want to talk about it like too much, but how does the devil operate? And how does evil, or you don't have to like use the term devil, right? I'm using the term devil because I mean, like, that's what it is, right? But you could change if that scares you. You could use like, how does dark energy or like, how does evil operate? It operates, right? They're not gonna like bust out from under your bed and be like, boo bitch, right? Like, hi, I'm the devil. No, okay? It's like the devil has, and I made a post about it, or I think I talked about it in one of the lives or something, but they have certain tactics, right? And like, that's why I always tell people, like, stop playing around with crystals, stop like, so I'm gonna go off on this live, okay? Stop playing around with crystals, stop playing around with tarot cards, because you don't know what you're doing, okay? And you don't know what you're opening yourself up to. And that's like, even like horror movies, like people have been telling me recently that they're watching this show called, I think it's Evil. I think it's called Evil on Netflix, where it's like they're talking about like these demon families, and I'm like, that is something you should not be watching, because it can come through the screen, okay? And it will affect you. So like, be careful what you're like watching. So yes, okay, going back, the devil has tactics and strategies that they use to infiltrate into your life, okay? And one of those tactics is to use people in your life. What does that mean? Does that mean that the person that they are, I'm going to break this down, okay? So follow along. Does that mean that the person that they are using is aware? Yes and no, okay? Some people that the devil is using is aware that they are being used. Most people, the majority, are not aware. They're NPCs, right? They're non-player characters. They do not know, okay? They're just hosts. They're being used as a host. Their body's a host for the devil to use to infiltrate and target your life. This has happened to me many times, right? When you hold a higher vibration or a higher level of consciousness, you are constantly attacked. It just comes with the name of the game. So again, they use people, right, that you think are genuinely in your life, who love you, like this could be friends, family, a partner, parents, right? They will use these people. If that person is of a lower vibration, right, essentially an NPC or a host, they will use this person to infiltrate and essentially attack you, right? So that's why I was saying, like, the devil uses people. So what does that look like, right? That could look like them sabotaging your plans, your goals. That could look like them constantly triggering or gaslighting you. That could look like them abusing you. That could look like them putting you down. That could look like them criticizing you, right? It's very subtle, the way that they do it. It's very purposeful. It's very intentional. It's very strategic. And you won't notice it at first, right? Because you won't notice it unless you're like fully aware and you're like conscious and like, you're familiar with these things, because it will just look like normal behavior or normal toxicity in your life, right? But the thing is, you will notice it because when they are using these, this is gonna get crazy, but when they're using these people, they will slip. The devil is not perfect, okay? They make mistakes and they will slip. And so you have to be like, first you have to be aware of like, this person is, being used as a host. And then you've got to like, you'll notice the slip. And it's happened to me. And I can think of like one example, like I have like a couple examples that I will share later. But I remember one time this happened to me. My friend, this is a couple of years back, she kept getting scratches like all over her chest and her body, like, deep red scratches and bruising. And she was like, I don't know what's happening to me. Like, and I'm like, well, are you scratching yourself? And she's like, well, no, it's just appearing at night. And I knew already that this girl was like a lower vibrational girl, but like, she was like one of my friends, and I was just like, oh shit, like, you're my friend. Anyways, and then she had called me like later on in the night, and I don't remember the details exactly, but it was like, but I remember I knew it that night because she was saying something like, oh, can you talk to me? And I'm like, it was a weird time, right? It was like 12:30 at night. Like, that wasn't her normal time to call me. Like, she knows not to call me. I was in law school at this time. I was like, why is she calling me like 12:30 at night, right? And then she had basically said something like, oh, I'm walking down like a dark street. And then she was saying like, can you walk with me through the dark? And then I was like, that was so off for her to say, like something like that. She would never think to like, you know what I mean? Like, this girl's out all the time. Like, why is she all of a sudden calling me to walk her down a dark street that I'm in a completely different country? Like, it makes no sense, right? So it was something along those lines that she said. And I remember in that sentence, she had said something else that just like, I was like, I've got to get off the phone. Like, and I just hung up. So again, they will slip, right? And they will say something where you'll be able to identify that they are being used as a host, or that they are being manipulated in some way. So you have to be conscious and aware of that. Do you have any questions? Let me know in the chat. Okay. Yeah, so I did say some people are aware. Yeah, some people are aware that they're being used, and they've called that forth into their being, and they've called that forth into their life, where they're like, hey, devil, like, use me. Like, some people do that. But most often, like I said, the majority are not aware. Okay, the next thing. The next post I had made was where it said, the purpose for life is to know yourself as divine through human. Yeah, it's a non-linear process of refinement and restoration with your divine self. Yes, this is true. And I always tell the people this, like, people are like, what is the purpose of life? I'm sick of going to work every day and paying bills and like, dealing with some bullshit every day. Okay, well, yeah. And then I say to them, well, the purpose of life is to know yourself as divine, to know that you're ultimately the creator. And they're like, well, what bullshit answer is that? That's literally the answer, okay? The answer is to know that you yourself are divine through human. So you are ultimately the creator yourself, but you're in human form. Does that mean that there is capabilities and limitation? Absolutely, because you're stuck in a human body, so you can't do shit, right? But okay, like, you could do stuff, but like, essentially you can't, because you're not like in God form, and like, you're limited through your human capabilities. So there's only so much you can do physically wise, okay? So yes, it is a non-linear process. It's not a process that is a straight line that is going to, here I am, and then here I am as like a divine creator. It doesn't work like that. It is non-linear. It's all over the goddamn place, okay? So it's a process of refining and restoration of your divine self, because you were essentially born a divine self, right? When you're a baby, you're born, you don't have any beliefs, ideologies, limitations. You don't have any of that when you're born, right? It's through your birth and your growing up and your childhood and your adulthood and your teenage years that you start to develop, right? You're shaped by society, right? So that's how that starts to play. And once you go through life, it chips away at your divinity, okay? Think about it like a vase or like a vase. Some people pronounce it vase, right? If you have a nice clear crystal vase and then you throw it on the ground and it breaks, that's your divine self shattering through life, okay? Think about it like that. And then you pick up pieces of the glass and then you sit there with your little glue gun or your glue and you putting together the pieces of this vase. That's the refinement and restoration of your divine self. So you literally need to sit there and do that. And so when you're thinking about it and you're putting together the pieces of this vase, right? You're not sitting there putting it like in a line. You're putting a piece here, you're putting a piece there, you're putting a piece up here, down here. That's how it happens. That's how you do this refinement and restoration of your divine self. It's all over the place. It's non-linear. Okay, so don't think about it like it hasn't happened yet. It's taking a lot of time. It takes time, and it is a process. Okay, that's why I've said the word process. It is a non-linear process. Processes take time. They take development. They take strategy. They take work. So again, that's the purpose of life, to know yourself as a divine creator, and you need to refine and restore yourself as your divine self. Let me know if you have any questions about that. Okay, the next post, I was saying I was right all along, that I had studied law, I had refused 4 different men who'd asked me to marry them. I was right all along when I moved to the US. Yes, okay, so this post I was saying that okay, like your self and your intuition and your guidance will tell you what is right, and it will guide you along the way. So I gave the examples in the post, like I just said. I was right all along when I chose to study law because I just was. Okay, when 4 different men had approached me and asked me, hey, let's get married, and I said no, I was right all along. And I was right along when I moved to the US. So I could say that I was right all along at the point that I'm at now, looking back, right? At the time, did I think I was right? Probably not, right? But now that I've come this far, you can look back and you can connect the dots. So that's why I'm saying that you need to trust your intuition and guidance. So even at the points where all of this was happening in my early 20s, right? And I was like not aware at all, and I had not obtained this higher level of consciousness. I wasn't aware as I was now, but I had enough sensibility and enough knowledge of self and enough, I guess, spark of an intuition to know that like these things, like these men weren't for me, or to know that yes, like law was for me, or to know like yes, I knew I was being called to move to the US. Like, so you've got to know for yourself like what is for you. Like you've got to trust, like even if you, like I said, even if you don't have that level of awareness, you need to look at it like realistically. And you need to figure out, like, is this for me? And then you need to be like, yes or no. And that's how I had moved through life, like in my 20s and 30s, right? Like even when like I said, I didn't always have this level of awareness. For a long period, majority of my life, I didn't, right? So then that's how I was able to make these decisions, right? So again, you need to be able to do the same thing. And then when once you get to a certain point, you're able to look back and be like, okay, I see why this happened, or like why my life turned out like this, right? So again, I was right all along. So you need to look back at your life and be like, were you right all along, right? Like, were you right along in your choices? And when you start mapping it out like that, you can essentially see where you've went wrong in life. Like it's going to become really, really clear to you. Okay, the next thing is psychic attacks. So I had made a post about how I was like being attacked psychically and like, was it happening to you? It was a certain period of like whenever that post was made. So do psychic attacks happen? Yes. If you're a higher vibrational person or high person with consciousness, a psychic attacks always happen. Psychic attacks happen through your consciousness. It usually happens in sleep state, dream state, right? It will come through your consciousness, so it will happen through your dreams. They are scary. They feel very real, and they are real, right? It's people don't think they are real because they are not. It's not happening to them physically while they're awake. That doesn't mean it's any less real. It's still real, but it's just happening in a different form, right? So psychic attacks happen all the time. Like, it happens in like crazy ass ways. Like half the time my Instagram's getting shut down, right? For like no apparent reason. Like, so I mean, like, again, they attack you in different ways, right? This is again like the same way that I was talking about how like the devil attacks you. It happens in very different ways. So you have to be very mindful of like, you know, that's what I'm saying. Like, don't play around with the tarot cards and crystal cards, because you don't know the types of attacks yet. Unless you're like skilled in the type of attacks and like you've experienced it and you know how to deal with them, like you don't want to play around with it, because and again, this goes back to my example with like watching horror movies, right? They come through the screen. That's why people tell you like monitor your social media consumption and who you're looking with, because that energy can come through the screen and into your life, right? So again, it's the same thing. Like, the psychic attacks, they happen through your subconscious in your like dream state, but they can manifest into your physical reality here on earth. So that's why you need to stay protected at all times, and that's why I say limit your exposure with crystals, tarot cards, all this, you know, stuff that you're not skilled or trained to use. Okay, we're getting into the end of the list soon. Okay, so the next thing I had made a post about was your spiritual awakening is the ultimate healing through grace, which protects you from all kinds of emotional, physical, and abuse. Yes, this is true. Your spiritual awakening and your ascension, or your higher level of consciousness, whatever you want to call it, will protect you. It will protect you. Okay, I'm not saying 100% it's going to protect you, because again, we live in a 3D world, right? We live in a different, we live here on earth, right? So a lot of shit happens, right? And you can't control other people. So we also have third-party factors. But in the majority of the time, your spiritual awakening and ascension will protect you from all kinds of emotional, physical, and abuse or anything like that. So it will usually protect you from all of those things. And how does it protect you about, I can't even talk. How does it protect you from these things? It protects you from these things through the gift of discernment. Once you reach a higher level of consciousness, you will have the gift of discernment. The gift of discernment, okay, does not come right away in your spiritual journey. The gift of discernment, it will come in your spiritual journey, but it will take refinement, because most of the time you will be aware of the gift of discernment and what it's telling you, but you will not act on it, because you'll be like I gave you that example of my friend, you know, you will think things, 3D things like, oh my God, this is my family member. Oh my God, this is my friend. I don't want to cut them off. Like, oh my God, this person wouldn't do that to me, right? You will have these beliefs and these thoughts, and that's what will keep you stuck. But once you learn to trust your gift of discernment and to realize that it's actually a gift, and you start utilizing your gift, holy, does the game change. You will know. Okay, let me tell you how the gift of discernment works, okay? The gift of discernment works like you meet somebody, a random person, okay, on the street, and you will know their intentions. You will know what they're thinking. You will know their intentions will tell you everything, right? You'll know what they're thinking. You'll know their intentions. You'll know their goals. You'll know their motives. You'll know their energy. Like, you'll know everything that you need to know. And you will start operating from the gift of discernment. So I operate from, I've talked about this before, I operate from energy and I operate from the gift of discernment. There's some other things I operate from, but these are some of the things that I use, right? And So I will see a person like, you know, just interacting with the person on a regular day, and I will know, okay, I will not fuck with you. Like, I will not talk to you, because you already know everything that, you know, like they've already told on themselves, essentially, right? Their intentions become known to you, especially with men, right? You'll start to realize it with men, or if you're dating, you'll see it with your family members and friends. You'll see it with your employers or your co-workers. It starts manifesting almost like in every area of your life. And then you're like walking around like, holy shit, like everybody's fake as fuck, and like everybody's like, you know, dishonest, and there really are no good people. Right? I remember, like, this is a funny story. I remember in my 20s, I was working at this law firm, and I worked for this woman who was a judge. And you know, I was at this little law firm, and I'm like, blah, 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 every day. And then she would always say, like, she had I think I was on contract, right, at the job. And then she was like, you know, we're going to keep you. And I was like, really? And like, here I am, right? I'm like 20s and so outgoing, bubbly. And I'm thinking to myself, yo, I'm like crazy. Like, why is this lady keeping me? And she had said to me, she was like, Michelle, let me tell you something. She's like, you won't realize it because you're like 20. But she's like, good people are hard to find. And I could only, again, this is only like what I was talking about before, I could only look back and be like, shit, she was right, you know, good people are so hard to find. And it is true. Once you have this gift of discernment, you will start to realize that good people are really, really hard to find, because you will be able to, again, see their intentions, their morals, their values, and then you're going to be like, stay away from me. Okay, so the gift of discernment is a blessing in disguise. It is kind of like a double-edged sword, but it is a gift that you definitely want, and a gift that you need if you are going to be here on earth. So get it together. Okay, next one on the list. The next one on the list is where I made a post saying, do your own due diligence. Yes, this is true, okay? Do your own due diligence. Yes, you're watching the live, okay? And yes, you're listening to all the information I'm saying, but go and fact check it, right? Go and double check it. Go do your little research. Get on Google, right? Look at things up. Look and read for yourself, you know? See if this is true. See what people are saying. Like, I'm just saying, like, do your own research. Stop believing what people are saying and telling you on the internet. And I encourage that, right? I encourage you to do your own due diligence, because you need to be able to form your own beliefs and your own thoughts. And this helps with your self-sovereignty, right? If you're in my broadcast channel, it's called Sovereign Circle, right? So this helps with your own self-sovereignty, right? You need to be able to think and form thoughts and beliefs for yourself. Yes, I'm inspiring you or giving you information, but again, you want to interpret what I'm saying to be true or not based on your own research and your own, you know, beliefs and thoughts and fact searching, and yeah, just based on your own research. Like, you know what I mean? You just can't go around believing everything anybody says to you. You've got to do your own due diligence. You need to feel in your heart if what this person is saying is true, okay? You need to know. And the only way you're going to do that is by doing your own due diligence. So stop believing everything everybody tells you online and do your own research. Period. Okay. Next thing. Okay, so the next two. So that's like halfway through the post that I had made. I think I might do another live like later this week just to catch us up onto where I had stopped making the post, or where I'm at in the posting. Again, let me know if you have any comments below. But I want to go to two questions that people had asked. So someone asked, how do you keep going with your manifestation when you're almost scared because it's so real? So the way you keep going is to literally keep going, because what are you going to do? Not have your manifestation come through, not have all of your like work come through because you're scared. So what you need to do is look at that aspect of being scared and ask yourself, like, where is that coming from, right? So that's a pain point. That's a trigger point. You need to look at that, right? So let's say, like, why am I scared, right? Like, maybe it has to do something with like your childhood, or maybe it has to do something with like you feel like you are not prepared enough, or maybe you feel like you're scared because like, oh my god, this is really happening, right? So you need to ask yourself, like, how can you step into that next level? How could you make the transition really smooth and clear for you? That's what you need to be doing. So again, you don't want to be scared and have that stop your manifestation, right? You want to be scared and then use that scared, or right, or use that feeling of being scared to help you shift into more of your manifestation, right? So that it actually comes into fulfillment. And again, using that feeling or those feelings, for example, of being scared, you can use it to shift. So like, again, what would that look like? It would be asking yourself questions like, why am I scared? How can I, like, where is it coming from? What is the root cause of it? How can I transform it? How can I overcome it? It's like just doing deep inner work. And it's not, and like some people are like, okay, well, these are just questions I'm gonna like ask in my head and like get the answer. No, like I would write it down if I were you, because you really need to work through it, right? If you just say the answers in your head, I mean, you can, but like, I don't think that deeply sets it, right? Like you can't be like, I'm scared because, my 5th grade teacher told me I wasn't going to be shit. Like, that's not going to really help you move through it if you're acknowledging it, right? You need to dig deeper and into the core. You need to sit with it for some time. So that's why I'm saying, like, don't just answer these in your head and be like, I'm done, I answered them in my head. Like, really sit with it, or give it some time. Like, think about the answers, take a week off, come back to the answers, and then you're gonna find like, oh shit, like there's a lot of work to do, right? So again, don't let your emotions get into the way of your manifestation. You need to work through the emotions. Okay, it's a lot. Somebody has a question. How powerful is the Lionsgate portal on August 8th for manifestation? Okay, so the thing with these, like, I see this a lot where people are like, oh, there's a new moon or full moon or Lionsgate portal or eclipse or something, and this is going to be really important for manifestation. It's not, it's a powerful time. Okay, so like you can manifest at any given point in time, any day, any month, any year, whatever. Every time is a powerful time for manifestation, right? If the energy is right. So again, if you're like, for example, if you're drinking and smoking every day and you're going to be like, I'm going to manifest, like, it's probably not going to happen for you, right? Like those are low vibrational things. So like the energy during Lionsgate portals and certain like eclipse seasons or like super moons or whatever, those are heightened periods of energy in the earth, right? They are the earth systems processes that the earth is going through, right? So it's shifting something in the earth, and the energy is heightened or increased. So that's why they're saying, people are saying, in the spiritual community or whatever, it's a powerful time for manifestation, because you can use, right? You can utilize this heightened energy that's happening in the earth. You can harness it and you can use it to elevate your manifestation. So it's not like, oh my God, I have to manifest during this time because it's a Lionsgate portal. They're just saying it's deeper than that, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, don't believe everything you hear. It's deeper than that, because it's not only a powerful time, but you've also got to know how to harness that energy and then how to alchemize that energy so that your manifestation will come true. So it's like a deeper process. And you can do like little things where, like people do like, I don't know, like they pray to the moon or like, a ceremony or something like that. And those little things, like, they do help, but I wouldn't say that they help to the full 100% where your manifestation is going to like pop off the next day. No, you really got to use the energy. And that's why if you don't know how to manifest properly, then you cannot use this Lionsgate portal energy. So you really have to know how to manifest in order to use these energies. Does that make sense? Rosa, oh my gosh, hi, how are you? Thank you for joining the live. DM me, let me know how you're doing. I miss you. Okay, so the next question is, someone asked, is how do you know something is for you? Okay, this is an interesting question because people have gotten it all wrong. We as humans are like so caught up in our heads, right? I'm going to use the example of dating. I'm going to use the example of a woman dating a man, okay? It's like the first example that comes to my head because everybody complains about this shit. So how do you know something is for you? And you can apply this to anything. So as humans, we always think with our minds, generally, normally, right? We think, okay, so like he's not texting me, he doesn't like me, or like he's not asking me out, he doesn't like me. You know what I mean? Like, okay, that's not a good example. Oh yeah, this example works. Okay, let me just think about it for a second. So that's what I'm saying. That's the mind process, right? The mind process is telling you these things, or the mind process is saying, okay, well, he's a Virgo, I'm a Pisces, we're a good match. Or the mind process is saying, like, he's telling me he loves me, you know, therefore it's a good match and we should be together. Or, you know, we've been dating for 6 months, it's a good time to get engaged. Okay, like this is the mind thinking, this is the mind process, right? But and you can apply this to anything. You can apply this to a job, you can apply it to like moving to a new location, you can apply it to everything. You're always thinking about it in your mind first, right? But you need to start not thinking about it in your mind. Follow me here. You will know that something is for you by your body. Your body will tell you if something is for you. And I'll give you an example, okay? If you are dating somebody, and we're back to my dating example, okay? And I've heard women say this all the time. Like, women are like, I made him sleep in the other room. Okay, you're making your husband sleep in the other room. Or one woman is like, I don't like the smell of his semen. One woman is like, I don't want to have sex with him. Or if you're a man and you're like, I don't know, like, I don't know, okay? But sentences like those, or they're ultimately telling you your body is rejecting that person, right? I have had women say, okay, well, like, you know, we tried to have intercourse and like, I don't like it, or like, it didn't feel good, or like, it doesn't fit, or like, whatever. I know it's a lot, okay? Those are, that's your body telling you that this person is not for you. Your body will let you know when someone or something is not for you. You will feel it in your body first. You will know it in your mind second. But we always jump to the mind first when you should be going to your body first. Does that make sense? Your body will tell you. So if you don't like the smell of a guy's semen, that man is not for you. Okay? If you don't want to have sex with your wife, then she is not for you. Your body is ultimately rejecting that person. If you don't want to sleep next to your partner in bed, then your body is rejecting that person. You will feel it in your body. You will feel the dis-ease in your body first. And the dis-ease, right, can look like many different things, right? It could look, you'll feel it. Like one woman's like, okay, every time I'm with my partner, we're always arguing, right? Her nervous system is at unease, right? She doesn't have a regulated nervous system. Your body will tell you. It will be unregulated. That's how you'll know that something is for you or not. You'll feel it, and it usually shows up as your body being dysregulated, right? Your heart rate increases. You'll feel it. You will know. Okay? And look for the rejection in your body or in your emotions. Not in your emotions. Your emotions will play into your body, right? Because let's say you're arguing with your partner, then you realize, you start crying, and then you're getting really upset. So that's your body showing you that, this is not the right person for you, but then you're also crying, right? So that's like the emotions that are coming out. So it's like kind of twofold. But again, the body will let you know who is for you and what is for you. Say, like, another example is your job. If you're at your job all the time and then you come home and you're upset and, you're talking about, well, so-and-so did this and like, whatever, that's not for you, right? Like, if you're coming home and you're tired and you're exhausted and you like really, really want to lay on your bed from your job, like, that's not for you. Your body is letting you know. But what happens is we get so much into the mind that we do not pay attention to what the body is telling us. Hi to everybody that's joined. We're going to end the live soon, but thanks for joining. Anyways, ask any questions you have. We're talking about all things manifestation and spirituality. So again, the body will let you know People jump into their minds and pay attention to what their minds say, and they try to rationalize it or justify it when the answer is clear in your body first. So stop listening to your mind, pay attention to what your body is telling you, and then act on what the body is telling you, not what the mind is trying to justify. That's how you know what and who is for you. Okay? Yay! Okay, so that's all the questions. I am going to save this live, and I am going to also post it on YouTube because, like I told you guys, I'm always getting canceled for some reason on Instagram. So it will be backed up on YouTube. If you would like to book a high vibrational energy reading, feel free to DM me or email me at alignedtocreate@gmail.com. Private mentorship is now open. Everything is in the link, you guys. Just click the link in bio. Join the broadcast channel. There is a giveaway in the broadcast channel. It is 2 free readings that I am giving away, 2 free energy readings. All you need to do is be in the broadcast channel and just send me a DM. The giveaway is still open. So again, it's open to people who have not had a free reading before. And I will see you we're looking probably at Wednesday to do another live and to pick back up on everything that we're talking about, that I've talked about in the post. And then we will be back again on the following Sunday. If you have any questions, come prepared. Bring your pen and paper. Classes in session. Okay, bye.